there is nowhere else like this. Here in this place men call Kenya, sky and forest, water and grass give life and protection to us all. For these are the wild lands, the kingdom of the elephants. And in all to the danger of men, but I have always returned to the White Mountain. When I was born, I did not understand elephant ways. Everything I needed to know, I learned from my family. They are forever a part of me. On the great flatlands, among the thousands of animals that graze here, the clan is excited. A baby has been born, and every elephant within hearing has gathered to welcome her. She came with the sun this morning, but already her legs can hold her weight. For a little while, she will be in the dark time, unable to see properly. But her mother and family will protect her. All she really wants is to sleep. But as the sun rises higher, her mother takes her on her first journey into the swamp, into water deeper than she is tall. It is her first lesson. She must always keep up. Mothers, sisters, cousins, and aunts, all part of the family's strength. And in every family, they are led by one elephant, the matriarch. The matriarch must remember the paths that lead to food and water, always avoiding danger. She cannot falter or fail, for if she does, the family is lost. My family was once led by my mother, but she is long gone. Now it is my cousin Torn Ear who leads. She is the family's guide and protector, their keeper of memory. For 51 years she has learned the ways of this land and so seen her family grow. Now she leads 40 elephants, including her own 4 daughters, 2 sons, and 6 grandchildren. But it is her grandson, Little Bull, who needs more watching than most. Since the day he was born 6 months ago, Little Bull has not stopped. Each day is an adventure, and the family is his personal playground. For the first month of his life, little Bull was on his own. Then his cousin Kike was born. Even though she's smaller and not strong, Kike has become little Bull's partner in all their play. The older calves play with all the babies, tolerating their persistent demands for attention. The older females become nannies to them, disciplining and worrying over them, practicing for the day when they too will become a mother to a pestering boy like little Bull. All my life I have known gentleness among elephants. We can meet again after only an hour's absence, and our feeling for each other is as strong as if it were a year. Even old bulls like me will be greeted by the smallest of calves. There is little to disturb us here. Sometimes an unwanted bull must be sent away, or potential predators warned off. Our greatest fear is the coming of men. When that happens, the matriarch will gather her family behind her, placing herself in the position of greatest danger. If the threat remains, no matter how frightened she may be, the matriarch will bravely risk her own life and charge. Bull elephants move away from our families to live on our own. We are bigger and stronger than any other animal in the wildlands and can basically go where we want. We lead gentle, wandering lives, content to feed and travel alone. Often, though, we will seek out other bulls and, for a time, keep each other company. Our life's work is quite simple: to grow as big and as strong as we can, then to pass those qualities on to our offspring, ensuring the survival of our line. It is mostly a life alone, but not a lonely life. We are generally quiet, placid creatures, content to amuse ourselves. But there comes a time in each year when things change, when our friendliness is temporarily left behind. It is the time for us to mate, when we depend on strength, dominance, and aggression. A mating bull moving among a family causes great excitement. He singles out the potential females, testing each one with his trunk to determine her readiness for mating. Once he has decided, the strength he has built up all year will be needed. For to win a mate, he may have to fight. The young bulls are always mock fighting, testing each other's strength. It's mostly play, but aggression is never far away. Sometimes a young bull will just display his strength rather than fight. He simply attacks a tree instead. But when the grown bulls battle, it's always serious and sometimes deadly. They stalk each other for hours, waiting for an opening, knowing that every fight holds the risk of death or injury. Perhaps, as happened to me, a tusk will be smashed as the massive heads collide. One thing is certain: when aroused, they will fight. Receives as his prize a fertile, sometimes reluctant female.
about the other elephant the whole time. You see that little...
In Tanzania, a herd of wild elephants move through grasslands. But their numbers are dropping by the day, slaughtered by poachers for their ivory tusks.
They follow it until they are very close. They use the gun to shoot. And after it dies, they take the axe and cut and cut and cut.
While those at the top of the trade make handsome profits, desperately poor villagers risk much for very little reward.
This job is very dangerous. If you are caught, you are shot.
The illegal trade is being fueled by a growing demand from China, where ivory remains a highly prized status symbol. 101 East traveled from Tanzania to the busy port of Hong Kong, the gateway to this growing market. Between 2000 and 2014, customs officials seized some 33 tons of ivory here.
They are checking 1% of the cargoes. That's how much was seized and how much was not seized.
We are determined to curbing illegal poaching of elephants and ending illegal trade in elephant ivory.
Undercover, we meet dealers willing to help us smuggle ivory.
You want to do this legally or illegally? It's possible to do it illegally.
And in Shanghai, we find buyers experienced in the trade.
We can pay cash on delivery. We can do the deal at my company. Right now, we only want African ivory. We only want African ivory.
With the smuggling and selling of ivory so commonplace, despite global efforts to ban the trade, there seems little to stop Africa's wild elephants from disappearing.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you take your seats, I will most appreciate. Your Excellency, Uhuru Kenyatta, President of Kenya.
Tonight's news. A lot of people watch Edinburgh. We can't see anything.
Deputy President Nicola, Executive President, he was reiterating the same message about Kenya and the national heritage. The reason we are so passionate about preserving our wildlife is because they are part of our national heritage, and to lose them is our identity and our national heritage. The President of Gabon, Ali Bongo, also gave a very direct message earlier, when he was also speaking about ending the poaching crisis. And he talked about the zero tolerance for wildlife crime. He said poaching has made elephants and rhinos and mercenaries. A very poignant point where we need as humans to come together globally to fight this crisis and to be the protectors of the rhinos and everything quite essentially from these. And he did give a directive and said all the poachers and traffickers, your days are numbered and we are going to put you out of business. A very confident speech there from President Ali Bongo, again reiterating the same message of the poaching and the poaching crisis across Africa.
He's going to let us put the drone up. When you were down.
This is one of the most important and positive decisions for global conservation of wildlife, which has been made over the last few years. I'm so pleased, I'm really happy with this decision, because it will have immediate impact on the African elephant, because China has been a main market for ivory. So it's a great decision. It will be good also to follow it up, because we have seen that the very much increased Chinese presence in Africa, which is fantastically good for economic purposes, bringing railroads and investment and trade. It has also come with increase in ivory trade, because simply there are more people who can do this illegal trade. So clamping down on that and informing people, also the not so educated people, those who are not environmentalists, about the danger to the elephants and the illegality of this, will also be very important. But it's a great positive decision by the state authorities of China, which we should all applaud.
Elephants are under serious pressure across their entire range in Africa and in Asia. And increasingly, the global community has recognised that if we're going to give elephants a secure future, we have to stop the poaching of these animals for their tusks in order to supply ivory into markets, illegal markets, in the Far East and across the world. And a big part of that is closing down legal ivory markets, both internationally and domestically. In May of this year, the United Kingdom government introduced its Ivory Bill to Parliament, and the Ivory Bill will ban the trade in most items, ivory items, both within, to and from the United Kingdom. And this is really important. The United States banned ivory trade in 2016, and China, the largest market, followed suit towards the end of 2017. This left the UK as the world's largest global exporter of legal ivory, so action by the UK government was clearly needed. The UK's Ivory Bill will ban the commercial trade in most ivory items. There will be some exceptions, such as musical instruments manufactured before a certain date that contain up to a certain amount of ivory, some older antique items that contain very small quantities of ivory, and trade in items between museums that are considered to be of great cultural or historic value. However, it's the trade in bulk ivory items that we really need to focus on, because it's this trade that can have such a devastating impact on today's elephant populations. The remaining elephants across Africa and Asia face a multitude of threats, which include loss of their habitat, the disruption of their migration routes, and increasing conflict with people as people move into areas previously and traditionally occupied by elephants and other wildlife. But the poaching of elephants to supply the illegal trade in ivory is a huge part of the problem. Upwards of 20,000 elephants are being killed across Africa for their tusks by poachers every year. And clearly we need to deal with this and the other threats that elephants face if we're to give these magnificent animals a secure future.
Elephants across Africa are in crisis. In northern Kenya, at a regional command and control center at the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy, elephants are tracked using Google Earth to guide the rangers who defend them.
The tracking system have really helped in terms of, say, the elephants have really done a great job within this region. And Lewa come up with a big screen on the optional, and then we can able to see those colors on the screen. And then we told them we will be assisting you guys and save the elephants to monitor where these animals goes.
So the elephants we are tracking at the moment on this screen within Samburu ecosystems here, we have about 27 elephants.
Just 26 miles north at their research camp in the Samburu National Reserve, Save the Elephants follow 100 elephants across Africa using GPS tracking collars.
The position of the collar, and I can see. So when I take this corner, I go a little, and then on the other side of the river. This is Flow Bear, and it's presented by an orange line on the Google Earth, and it's just right here.
Tracked individuals reveal not just their movements, but those of their families and friends. If trouble does strike and a collar stops moving, the tracking system alerts security chiefs and enables fast deployment of rangers. By enhancing the efforts of security forces and building our understanding of elephant lives, Google Earth and Save the Elephants are helping to secure a future for one of the world's most iconic species.